Well, there's much chuckling over the fact that I wasn't quite sure if this was Friday or Saturday. Pat, you know which day it is. Tell me now.
It
Tell
is
me. Cover up for my
Dr.
mistakes,
Collins. It
would
is
you?
definitely Saturday.
Saturday.
The World Cup starts tomorrow.
Yes, yes. And will you be glued to the screen, as they say? I
Judy,
think.
I'm going to be honest and say I shouldn't be, but I probably will be. Now, I'm not saying that I'm going to watch every match. Bollocks.
No,
I'm
neither
not
am
going to
I.
do that. I know. But like for instance, England playing on Monday, and I want to see how they get on. Every time England go to a World Cup before I get reading all this stuff. I get the newspapers and start reading, and England are in with a chance of being World Cup champions and all that. And every year, every tournament's the same. Anyway, so
Will you be cheering for Iran? That's the question, Pat. Will you be cheering for Iran?
I don't know if I'd be cheering for Iran either. I don't like the regime there is far from human rights orientated, and they're not particularly decent people.
I know, but so what the hell does sport have to do with human rights? Like, if you're going to start human rights, that's a political problem. It's not the fans of football.
No, come on, Dr. Collins. The last day there, funny, we just got into a bit of discussion with a couple of my brothers there this morning. Like the Live Golf Tour has been sponsored by the Saudis.
Yeah.
And they're giving guys, apparently they offered, what do you call him, the black guy, the golfer, his name's just totally,
Tiger Woods.
Tiger Woods. Apparently they offered him up to $1 billion to join them. So this is sort of sports washing. The guy.
What do you mean by that, Pat? What do you mean by sports washing?
Right. This is my idea or my take on it. Last year, Saudi Arabia executed, I think it was 82 people in the one day.
Yeah.
The vast majority of them were not criminals. They were political opposition, and they used excuses of various hues to justify the rest of it.
Yeah.
Now these guys want to come to London. And they want to go to Washington. They want to move in the upper circles. They want respectability, and they want sort of acceptance, by people like you and me, but much higher up the pecking order in the social scale. And they want to be seen at Ascot and all that sort of stuff. This is they're cleaning up their image. But Jude, if we all buy into it and sort of say this is grand, we know human rights is an issue for all of us. I don't buy this saying, it's got nothing to do with politics. The Iranian regime are shooting dead their own people in the street. Why,
I'm sure
would I be supporting them?
I'm sure every word you say is true, but there are so many bad things going on in the world, so many bad regimes, etc. I just don't feel that it's my job or the job of football to sort it out. There's always going to be. You play with no team then. You wouldn't have played with Iran because
I didn't say it's a job of sport, but Jude, we can make choices. I don't have to buy something made in Israel. I don't have to buy something made in Iran.
That's different, Pat. That's different. If you've got a concerted campaign of boycotting something. Yeah. I see that. How will they know if you watch the games?
Excuse me, Dr. Collins. No, it's all part of the same thing. We can all make choices, and it's all part of the moral choice. Jude, I was reading an American guy whose name totally escapes me as usual. He said he was a lawyer, and he says, when you're young, people are usually very radical and get more conservative as you get older. He says those people obviously haven't been paying attention to this. We know basically what's happening in the world today. He says, considerably more left wing as he goes. Same here.
Well, I'd be quite left wing too, but I wouldn't. I would have little time for engaging in essentially what is a meaningless gesture. I saw them on Question Time on BBC the other night, and they were saying, "Are you going to watch it? I'll watch it or I'll not watch it." Like, how will they know? How will they know that I watched it or didn't watch it?
Exactly.
And what difference would it make if I did?
But I'm a hypocrite here because there's certain matches I will certainly be watching.
But I'll be watching it doesn't matter. You might as well say I'll sit in a comfy chair when I'm watching it, or I'll not sit in a comfy chair. That's as much difference as it'll make.
Yeah, I know. But what I'm saying is, but somewhere along the way, I want to make a protest, knowing that I'm not. Jude, this was total corruption. I think there was 22 people.
I agree.
There was 22 people on the FIFA committee, as far as I remember. 14 of them are now either and jail, banned, or corruption. Blatter and Platini being the two main guys.
Yeah.
Now, they've got off somewhere on some sort of technicalities and out about Switzerland, so I'm not 100% certain what the background and all this. But Jude, the fact that a country with 300,000 people was they've spent 330 billion. Listen to that, Dr. Combs. 330 billion building stadium. My youngest brother sent me a thing last night. You'd see the stadiums, Jude, they are like 5-star hotels. And the sort of carpet seats. Not only can you view it's the circle around, but each seat's got its own TV, so where you can match the thing live. And Jude, the corruption involved, everybody knows they bought it. And they're playing. They have to play it in winter because even as we speak, I think the temperatures can reach during the day somewhere about 30, 35. It's ridiculous.
Crazy. But yes, my point. I would make point the finger at the people who said, we'll have a World Cup in Qatar. It doesn't matter that there's boiling temperatures. It doesn't matter that they're slaughtering people. Qatar is a place to be because they have plenty of bucks.
Yeah.
Now, if they make that decision, well, fine, you make it. But don't be looking to me there and say, "Oh, are you going to stand and watch it? Are you going to go? Are you going to be a principled person?" Yeah. I just think that's rubbish. They should never have given it to them. There's lots of places would have been falling over themselves to take it. Unreasonable regime as well.
Even a look at it, like remember when they were given, Russia got it and Qatar got it. Like the corruption there was unbelievable. Some of these guys were getting literally millions put into their bank account. Some of these voting guys, and so I like the day that they give it to Qatar, like. People are looking, where even is Qatar? No, Jude, absolutely no history of sport. It doesn't compete at sport. Has no track record. And they spent 330 billion. Yet, hey, Jude, apparently someone like 6,300 foreign workers, some of them have been working 16-hour days in boiling sun, have died.
Yeah. I mean, it's shocking. And the guy, the security guys are going to be working during the World Cup there, get something like 35p an hour.
That's
very, very bad. I agree, Pat. I couldn't agree more. But I just think this idea of putting, the weight of moral choice onto the average Joe.
All right, hold on. Sorry for cutting across you, but wait, what would you suggest we do? What would you do? Just say, it's grand.
No, I say it's outrageous, but I don't give a damn how outrageous it is in terms of me watching. I'm going to watch it. If there's a game worth watching, actually the fact that there's no Ireland team in it makes it sort of secondary. The other thing is, if I'm watching England, the chances are now, some of the England guys I like, but I'll be very sorely tempted to cheer for Iran. And they were trying to put that Scots Nat guy on the spot. On Question Time, did you notice that? Who would he be cheering for? he didn't say, But I mean, everybody knows that just about everybody, when England plays, just about everybody, certainly Welsh, Irish, Scottish people, they want to get stuck into them. They want. I remember saying to a guy, what was his name now? It's a chap who used to be doing a thing on 5 Live, and he was saying. Why do people not like England? When they're playing, we would cheer for you if you were.
We didn't get the message. We didn't invade in history. Yeah, look at your history. That has something to do with it. And take out your arrogance and your attitude of the white man's burden and whatever. Whatever.
Well, it seems unfair to load that onto the likes of Harry Kane. He should be playing for Ireland anyway.
Yeah. What do you call it? Was his father born in Galway? His grandfather certainly was. His grandfather was buried out about Clifton about 2 years ago. So there you go, Jude.
He definitely. Sorry, Pat. I've got some bloody thing on my phone here.
Happens regularly.
He should have been. Oh, Jesus, this is terrible. Hold on, Pat. Sorry, this is very bad. I hope we haven't lost our viewers as a result of this.
All 2 of them.
But Harry Kane and what's your man's name? Plays in the forward.
Harry Maguire.
No, he's dead.
Maguire was eligible to play for Ireland as well.
He was, but he's gone off completely.
And Declan Rice.
Rice, but the guy I really like is that little guy, the funny guy with the hair. The little guy
the guy
from
with
Man City.
Grealish.
Jack Grealish. I like him. I really like him. There's something about him. He looks like a guy who enjoys life. You know, cheeky little
Apparently he does
bugger.
as well.
Yeah.
Hey,
But-
Judy, he's on what he transferred for 100 million
That's
to
right.
Manchester City, and he isn't always a starter. Like, he was the main man at Aston Villa and was considered the best thing since sliced pan. But he hasn't really set Manchester City alight. So it's amazing of
Yeah.
what you can be a star at one place and a flop at another.
That's right. Did you watch the interview with Piers Morgan and Cristiano Ronaldo?
No, Jude, I missed that. And I've read a hell of a lot about it.
I watched it.
Yeah.
And I've somewhere, I didn't find it out on it. They never mentioned money on it. He kept saying, "Oh, I'd like to come back to," and I go to Sir Alex Ferguson.
He's on 500,000 a week.
Oh, can you believe it?
Yeah.
£500,000.
A
They
week.
never mentioned it. He kept saying, "Oh, I feel such loyalty, and I do this for the fans."
Yeah, bollocks. It's like the politicians said, I'm doing this for the country. You're doing it for your ego. You're doing it for your pension. You're doing it for your fundraising.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we spent maybe long enough on this thing, but my final words would be, it was bad to choose Qatar, but nobody's going to load onto me a sense of guilt if I watch any of the games. Frankly, my problem will be not, do I feel guilty? My problem will be, do I feel entertained?
Yeah, well, I got him. Like, I'm pretty much in that corner myself, but but I do think, having said that, I have a friend, when he goes into any shop and he sees someone who's really, he gets out his wee pen and his wee marker and says, "Do not buy."
Well, I'll confess,
that's his little protest.
Well, I'd be the same way with regard to Israel, I have to say. And you could see out of enough people did that it would have an impact. I don't quite get how they would know I wasn't watching TV. Anyway, leave it. Let's move on to a very, very interesting man, the man called Elon Musk, who's bought Twitter, and everything's falling apart because people are leaving, and they've closed the Dublin office. They opened it again, I wonder.
No, they're going to open it again Monday. The turmoil is such that they shut everything down. Jude, what was the Bible said somewhere along the line? He who exalts himself shall be humbled, and he who humbles himself shall be exhausted. Or exalted, and exhausted as well. Elon Musk, hey, Jude, you talk about falling into your own trap. He was so arrogant and so whatever. He offered 44 billion just to blast. I'm the richest man on earth. I can do this. So he blasts everybody out of the thing. Gets himself legally entangled that he can't withdraw the offer. Apparently, they said he was caught for $1 billion at minimum, no matter what way he went. Once he had, I presume once you, I can't remember the terms. Once you make the offer, there's some sort of legally binding thing.
Oh yeah, he probably signed a document when he.
Exactly, but there's a term for that. Anyway, that's all by the side. Then he started doing his due diligence, probably about too late, and discovered, oh shit, this is not worth what I thought it was, and tried to back out, and then couldn't. The shareholders were all of Twitter were going to do him illegally, and each one of them apparently could have taken a case against him. So which have been so you can work all that out. Here's the thing: then he buys it, realizes he's got a bit of a pig in the poke. So the first day he's there, he sacks what about half the 7,500 workers? Yeah, right. He then sacks the key people, and probably talk about a master and serf attitude. He turns around to the staff and says, "Those who are remaining will have to work at a far higher intensity for longer and probably for less. And if you don't like it, and only for me, a passing grade will be when you prove to me that you're worth it, and so on. And I'll decide that, etc., etc., etc. And you've got to whatever next Monday or whatever it was, whatever the date was, to sign up to this or take your bags and go."
He was bad timing with that, though. It was bad. His timing was bad. Because I gathered that.
What happened is, Jude, I think and his arrogance, he thought, I am the master of the universe. These people are all going to fall into line.
Yeah.
You see, that's my rant over.
But you have the answer to that, Pat, because you were saying, I think it was your son or some of your family, extended family, are involved in IT, and that they're begging for people like that at the moment. So the guys who are working for Twitter, they get this guy saying you're going to have to work from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and you're going to have to work intensely, and I'm going to fire half of you anyway. Those guys can say, well, you enjoy yourself, son, and can walk out because they know they've got a prospect of getting a good job.
Well, the only thing, Jude, there might be now, because there's a lot of retrenchment, as you know, the old war in Ukraine and a lot of things. Like a lot of the big companies like Twitter and Facebook and various others are letting staff go. But having said that, Jude, the world is, the others. There's this thing called fintech. Everything, we're becoming a cashless society.
Yeah,
planes fly now by computer. You go to a supermarket, every newspaper you'll ever. So everywhere you go, the increasing stealth forward of technology. It's not going back away; it's going forward.
But that's good if you happen to be a guy working for Twitter and you get this guy who obviously is a bully. I detest people like that. I really detest people like
absolutely.
In a workplace especially, who come in and start, throwing their weight around, and because they've got the bucks and they're your boss, there's damn all you can do about it. I hate that. I really do. And I'm delighted. Well, when I saw one of the reports now, I know what you're saying about Facebook and these people pulling back a bit, and they are worried in the present economic climate. But this article did say that people were leaving, but they were very much in demand still. I suspect that what you're getting is much smaller companies that are thriving.
Yeah.
It's the big giants that are feeling the squeeze, maybe.
Yeah. Well, Jim, there's a company called Mastodon. I only read about this this morning. Stephen Fry, now I've heard of it before, but I was only reading about it this morning. Didn't know a lot about it.
Yeah.
And apparently they've got something like 800,000 new subscribers in the past week. Mm-hmm. People are sort of transferring from Twitter over to Mastodon, and there's no one person I think owns Mastodon. I don't know.
It's a federation, sort of. There's a whole lot of little groups, really. But I made efforts to join it. But you see, the thing with Twitter was you could say stuff, and everybody everywhere could see it. Mastodon sounds very different. It sounds like it's more like WhatsApp. You'll have a group and you sort of talk to them. I think there's dangers in that. I mean, there's
dangers in Twitter too. There was dangers on Twitter too.
Well, that's true too. But I think at least in Twitter you're exposed to the views of anybody who reads it, whereas in Mastodon or certainly WhatsApp, you're only speaking to probably people that you like and people that you sit with and so on.
I presume what you're trying to say is it's a bit of an echo chamber. You get the same.
Exactly. That was I was thinking in terms of politics and so on. And I mean, to be honest with you, I'm so fed up having to say the right thing in public or in the real world that I almost welcome the choice.
But you look at the thing. Musk comes on, arrogance on steroids. Tells workers that you're going to have to work longer for your rights are going to be imploded. Half of you will get sacked. What else? He says he ended remote working for most staff. They were going to have to come into the office, and he basically threatened them. Look, and if you don't come up to my standards, you're going to get fired anyway. This is the billionaire with all the saying, I'm going to show all you people how. Dude, if you have a wife and a family, and he can take time off and go off to space as he did, go to his multi-million-pound yacht and all the rest. If you've got a mortgage at the end of each month, if you have kids to go to school, they got some attitude, some arrogance to say that to people. And Jude, one of the big banks, apparently, I'm not quite sure. I was listening to this yesterday as I was driving along. One bank, apparently, he didn't use his own money to buy Twitter. He got outside investors.
Really?
And one of the banks is into it for $14 billion. One of the American banks. Now, I'd say their board of directors are literally, as you know what, themselves on the fact that they're because it's absolute chaos and turmoil. In fact, the guy that owns Mastodon, whose name totally escapes me one more time as well, has said that anybody who thinks that Twitter couldn't disappear hasn't been paying attention. It's in total turmoil.
I mean, he's since that Musk has pulled back a bit and has said that people would need to maintain contact. And when he's talking about people being working really hard and hardcore working and stuff like this. He says that it'd be just really according, if your manager was happy with you, that he'd be happy with you. It was sort of easing back from this super tough talk that he engaged in.
What do you call it? Twitter is almost an autopilot now. They've lost so many staff. You
Yeah.
know, it's almost like a car run without a driver.
I mean, maybe it's not necessary. Pat, you're not on Twitter, are you?
No, I am, but I go on Twitter. No, somebody
I've
put me
never
on
seen you.
Twitter.
I've never seen you on it. I've somehow.
No,
I see you on Facebook.
Yeah, what do you call it? Some of the girls, and when I was in the Dairy Journal, and that's a long time ago, put me on Twitter, and I don't think I've used it about 3 times, I think, in this past year. And I haven't a clue how it works, by the way. Just
well, sure. I think we all probably could live without it if we needed to. Actually, Alex Kane brought up an interesting point on The View. He was talking about Twitter, and he was saying that he uses it not just for political stuff, but for talking about his devotion to Sherlock Holmes and other things like that, his squint and a whole lot of stuff. I thought that was, well, I think that's good. It's good around it. I'll tell you though, I'm a wee bit cynical because my son, one of my sons, used to put on tweets about his business, connected with his business. And then he was putting up stuff about football and about songs and, little things he'd sing. And I was saying, are you really interested in those? He says, yeah, I am. And besides, he says, I know it helps to present me as a rounded character. So people aren't just looking at him and say, that's boring so-and-so. The only reason he comes on is to sell stuff. So I think Alex Kane has been a wee bit, how shall we say, presenting himself in maybe as an excessively good light when he said that he talked about other things, because you welcome the guy. You'll read his stuff about journalism or about politics more readily if you know that he's not just putting it up for the job, if you know he has a kind of a hinterland there as well.
In fairness, I've read some of the stuff that Alex Kane. Alex Kane I actually quite like. I think he's.
I like him too. I like him too.
And I think he's pretty firm. Like he doesn't try. He says he's a unionist and doesn't apologize for it. But I've always found him to be very fair sort of guy you could have a discussion with, and no sort of offense taken, if you know what I mean.
I said one time to Crawley that he was a guy I find very difficult not to like, and he said, "Have you tried very hard?" Which I thought was quite witty, actually. But any dealings I had with Kane. In fact, if you watch Kane when he's talking with a group of people, they have 2 or 3 journalists, and they ask, each one in turn. When it comes to his turn, he always starts by, I would agree. I agree with much of what John said, and then he'll go to what he has to say. So he smooths things over. He's a very skillful guy.
And you can see why he's a very good press officer.
We shouldn't underestimate his ability to operate. Okay. What next have we got? Twitter, which is really in bad shape. Oh yes, Ireland is in danger of becoming a cashless society. They're very worried about this. And well, what some people would call, spell the place that's connected with Rathdown, Pat, out there. You know the name of the place. D, a 3-letter word. D, first letter, and then I know it was 10 letters. L.
Dunleary.
Huh? Dunleary. But it's Dunlera.
Dunlera.
It is. It's spelled Dunlera. Why do we call it Dunleary? I've been calling it
Dunleary. Hello, Dr.
Life.
Collins. Why do we call a Beaver Park Belvoir? Work at it for me before you start.
Belvoir. But this is our native language, for God's sake.
But hold on, there's Dunleer and I said
aye, that's right. There is a Dunleer.
You say Dunlera.
No, but that's right. I've never seen it spelt any other way than what I see it now on my screen. Dunlera. It's written in the Irish spelling. So anyway,
that used to be Kingstown, wasn't it, Dr.
Aye, that's right. And Cove, what used to be
Cove,
Queenstown was Cove, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway, the point is they're having a penny for their thoughts in Dunleer. Yeah, but I didn't realize it still was public toilets. I can never see any of these now.
Yeah, no, I
Has it
haven't seen
cut back
public
on those
toilets
the
in
same
years.
as they have with telephones?
Yeah.
Have they?
Yeah. By the way, those I was in Ballycastle there a couple of weeks. They've got those ones where they automatically close and automatically open.
Oh,
Jesus, Jude, I wouldn't trust them
I
at all. You could be
There's one of those.
sitting doing your business, and the next thing the door opens.
I wouldn't go into one of those.
And by the way, I'm a claustrophobic. I want control of when I open the door.
You'd be banging at the inside.
Oh shit!
Anyway, they said the big whole fuss is that Sandy Cove Avenue West APC, whatever that is, their toilet facility is now cashless. So you've got to bring your card with you and do a little.
When you want a crap.
And all these people, their various Fine Gael councillor Lorraine Hall and so on, is jumping up and down and saying this is awful, and there's more older people down Dunleary and they wouldn't know how to handle this and so on. I think it's one thing to be opposed to a cashless society, but I think it's bloody daft to be saying, oh, you must have every public toilet must have people with pennies. I can't bear that. I wish to God they'd just get rid of change. Because when I park my car, I'm always have to say, oh, geez, have I got the right money? And have a much sure to put it in. And
hello, Dr. Conte, are you going for the micro issue here or the macro issue here? What are you going for?
What do you mean?
Well, the micro issue is change, but the macro issue is if we go for a cashless society, the days of being what do you call it? Big Brother will be able to fuck.
No, Pat.
Right here, Richard.
They know all about you. They know all the things you've done. They know it now.
Bollocks, rubbish, Dr. Conf. See, tomorrow morning, if I've got a bank card and I pay for it, they can tell where I've been. They can tell
where were you then?
Hey, Jude,
where were you?
There was a friend of mine who worked for the government years ago. And I remember he every time, one day I was going past and I noticed there was about 5 or 6 calves in this field. Yeah. And I says to him, we'll just call him Wooly, because that wasn't his name. I says, Wooly, why are you buying all the calves? He says, have you ever seen a taxman run around a field? You know, so see when there's a record, see when we stop using cash. Now, if I want to buy a goat out there, if I walk up to a farmer and hand him do you have to hand him? Does he have to have a sort of a bank machine when I want to pay for it? Now, if I want to pay for me petrol or down in a wee shop just down the road,
Pat, what difference?
We can track us everywhere then.
But it's far easier. It's far easier. Hell of a lot easier to swipe your card without contact on that little jobby than digging into your pocket and have I got the right change? Okay.
So in other words,
I give you a fiver. I give you a 10.
But hold on,
change for a fiver.
See tomorrow morning if there's one of my taps out there loose, and if a young fella come up here and knows what he's doing, he could fix it in probably in about 3 minutes. And if I say, hey, there's son, thanks very much. Here's 30 quid for yourself. If he comes up and he says, well, Mr. McGard, if you're paying by card, after he charge you VAT and after he charge you the full rate and all the rest of it, hey, so on.
So you're saying the cash, society with cash, you could do deals that allow people to be slippery with their taxes.
Absolutely, and I am fully supportive of that.
Here's a man that had scruples about sitting and watching the World Cup.
But hold on, given the government, if I'm over at a car boot sale and I'm selling a wee or a record player and somebody says, hey, I'll give you 15 quid for that, thank you. But if I have to put it through a credit card as an income, bollocks that as well.
Okay. We've only 1 minute left and I want to introduce a philosophical note. You were talking about being out places and staying overnight and having a drink and eating out and drinking out. I have a funny feeling that more and more people are doing their drinking at home and doing their eating at home as well. I'm sort of mixed feelings because about Belfast, there's more restaurants than there ever was. And yet we're at a time when we're told there's austerity. And it's a hell of a lot cheaper to eat at home than it is eating a local restaurant or a cafe.
But Jude, I think people are eating out less and less. If you used to go out once a week, now people are making it maybe once every 2 or every 3 weeks. Like we haven't been out half as much as we used to be.
Yeah. I find myself. I just somehow wonder what the point in it is. It's far easier. When you're finished eating at home, you can fall down the couch and start watching TV or whatever.
And say, just pour me that other glass of wine.
Exactly. I'll have another glass when you're at it.
And it doesn't cost